Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and oh boy, do I have an exciting video for you today. As many of you know, or maybe most of you at this point, I tried to solo queue this season to 5500 to Legend Rank because I already have the Unbroken title, and I figured since there was no other reason for me to go to 5500 other than for fun, I might as well add a little bit of challenge to it and try to do the entire thing solo, considering the last 3 seasons I always had a team, was always playing with a team. I also did this because so many people come into my chat every day when I'm streaming, twitch.tv lucky10p, and they come in and they ask me, what advice do you have for someone who is solo queuing in comp? What advice would you give me? Is there anything you can do to help me win more matches when I'm solo queuing in comp? And for the longest time, I couldn't really give a fair answer because I never actually spent a serious amount of time solo queuing in comp. As I've progressed throughout the season, I've learned more and more things. And now that I have successfully solo queued for an entire season from 0 to 5500, now I want to give you guys and gals out there all of my advice, all of the opinions that I would advice and everything that I can give you to help you in your adventures in Shadowkeep as the time I'm making this video, to help you hit 5500 or 2100 this next season solo queue. Now obviously things are a little bit different in Shadowkeep because there is an actual solo queue playlist. The matchmaking in comp is going to be a little bit different, but the same principles will definitely apply even in 3 vs 3 comparative to 4 vs 4. So let's jump right into it. The first thing I want to mention and talk about is using a loadout that is powerful. Now, obviously, you don't have to adhere strictly to whatever you deem as the exact meta because honestly, in the game, there are a variety of different loadouts that are extremely powerful, but there are a few that stand out as being really powerful. And now, as I say this, of course, there are going to be some Crucible changes, but these weapons are still going to be extremely powerful. The Last Word, Mountaintop, and Lord of Wolves are all extremely powerful weapons. You don't have to use those exact weapons, but if you do use those with a variation of other weapons, you will find a lot more success than if you were to use, let's say, a scout rifle, a sidearm, and a sword, for example. That is only going to make it that much more harder for you to achieve your goals in comp if you're using non-meta weapons. The reason being that it's much harder to win a gunfight when your weapon has a much slower time to kill when you're versing another weapon that has a much faster time to kill. It's just simple math, you know. If you land all your shots and they land all their shots, they win if they're using a better weapon. And so I highly recommend to use ideally the Last Word, or if in the new meta in Shadowkeep things change, use whatever the meta weapon is, and if you want to add some variation, use a different variant to go along with it. Maybe use a Last Word and a fusion rifle. Maybe use Last Word and a sniper is really common. Maybe you use a variety of other things. You could use a thorn as a very powerful weapon. There's near meta weapons that are very close to being the best in the game. Use stuff that is definitely powerful though, because I do every now and again see people using some stuff that's really not that effective. Honestly, a lot of the times it's like someone using a bow, and no offense, if you like using bows, go for it. I'm not saying don't use them, but if you're trying to achieve your goals in comp, maybe steer clear of the really far off meta weapons and try to narrow it down to a little more of the meta. Along with that note, the most important thing that I found, as on a completely different note, actually, the second note that I'm going to make is that you want to go and rotate through the map with your teammates. Now this I found to be hard to do at times because I would spawn in and I had a plan, a game plan. I wanted to push a certain bomb site if it was countdown. I wanted to push a certain capture point if it was control. And when I would spawn in, I have it preset in my mind. Okay, I'm going to go here. I'm going to do this. I know the choke points. I know how to win those gunfights when I get to those spots. But my teammates would go the opposite way, 1, 2, or maybe even all 3 of them. And I had to, you know, bite my tongue and go, all right, even though I really want to go this way, it's going to be extremely detrimental, especially if I were to run into 2, 3, or 4 teammates. That's going to be getting team shot, and I'm just not going to win those engagements. So I had to very often change the direction I was going based on my teammates. I would look up at my radar, be like, okay, my teammates are all here. I'm going to go this direction, or my teammates are heading that way. I'm going to go that way, regardless of where I wanted to go. It's important to really base where you go and how you rotate and how you move through the map, where your teammates are. Now, obviously, if you have a bunch of really good slaying power and you can win 1v1s, you can kind of, you know, carve your own way through a certain part of the map. And that is awesome, and I have done that throughout comp. But when you're playing in really high comp, the competition is usually just about as good as you, statistically speaking. So if you go up against 2 people that are just as good as you, the likelihood of you winning is very slim. So keep that in mind. that you want to rotate with your teammates. The third point that I want to make is that consistency in playing PvP is actually really, really essential. I noticed that I had such better days and got so many more points when I played consistently. And I would encourage everyone who's out there who's trying to proceed in comp or trying to get better in PvP to try to play as consistently as you possibly can. Now, I understand not everyone can sit down and play 5 hours a night, 7 nights a week, but if you can play 1 hour or 2 hours a night or whatever time you have available, playing every night for 7 nights a week is going to prove a lot more beneficial than sitting down and just binge playing for 10 hours or 12 hours in one single night, if you even have that much time. I don't know how much time you have. That's up to you. But I would highly recommend playing consistently. I played and I proceeded to gain so many more points when I played consistently and when I played day after day after day. Now, obviously, I'm a streamer and I stream a lot of hours, and so I'm able to play a lot more than the average person. But even still, I only ever played comp for maybe an hour or two, the high comp in the solo queue, because after an hour or two, I would often match the same teams over and over again. And so I would lose a game, match, and like I'm solo queue and 3 people are solo queue with me, and we would match a tough team of 4 or something like that, right? And then I would play them again, and we would lose again, and then I'd play them a third time, and we'd lose again. And I'm like, that's when I would just end it for that night. I'd be like, all right, look, I've put in 1 to 2 hours, whatever it may be. I'm going to stop playing comp for tonight. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. It's so much better and so much so much less stressful doing it this way. I highly recommend to do it for so many other reasons. Definitely don't invest all your time and just try to get all the points in one night or be frustrated if you don't get them all in one night. Spread it out over time. Play PvP as consistently as you can. You'll learn so much more about the map, certain spots that are advantageous, certain choke points, places where you are often get killed. You'll build that sort of memory in your mind, like, oh, this, I really don't want to go chill in this spot of the map. I want to rotate to somewhere else because every time I'm here, I tend to die, right? And you'll learn that whether you like it or not. And that goes along with the fourth and final thing that I want to talk about, which is that the more you put in time and follow these things and play comp, the better you're getting. You just don't really realize it. There's no real chart or graph to follow. Obviously, there's statistics that you could go by. Maybe your overall game performance, your KD gets better, or whatever it may be. But really, it's hard to tell the exact improvements in PvP. And it's hard to demonstrate, like, yes, I got better. But you are getting better. You are getting better as long as you're actively working towards getting better every day, as long as you're playing consistently. And definitely believe in yourself, because I spent almost an entire month around the mid 4,000 rank. Almost an entire month. I would go up above 4,500. I would go down below 4,500. And I thought, there's no way I'm ever going to hit 5,500. There's just no way. It's not going to happen. It's not in the cards for me. I'm just not good enough for that. But eventually I persevered and I kept playing and I hit 5,000. And when I hit 5,000, I was like, that's it. I've peaked. I'll never get any better than this. There's no way I'm going to stay at 5,000. It's not possible. And then I was at 5,000 for an entire week. And then I hit 5,500 just last week. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. But definitely now that I'm 5,500, there's no way I'm going to be able to stay at 5,500. And I would play 5,500 and I would win 2 matches, 1-2 matches. And then I would lose a match. And I'm like, oh, here it goes. Here, I'm going to lose a bunch of matches. No, I actually kept 5,500, lost it and regained it about 5 or 6 times, and actually won easily over a dozen games while at 5,500 while playing over the past week or so. So I definitely improved with time by challenging myself with this solo queue comp challenge, and it was really, really beneficial for me, and I'm actually super excited about it. And if you guys have been watching the entire series, I hope you've been enjoying it. I plan to do the same thing in the next season. Obviously, things change quite a bit in the next season where there's actually a solo playlist, but I will be playing in that, and maybe I'll play in the other playlist, and maybe I'll even do some 1 vs 3 comp matches. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. Anything is possible, right? I'm going to be doing a ton of stuff in Shadowkeep regarding PvP. That's going to be mostly my focus. The game, I think, is probably heading into more PvE directions, so you might see a little more PvE content from me in Shadowkeep, but I will always stay true and stay to my core like PvP side, whether that's, you know, playing comp or whatever it may be. I definitely will always be like a PvP player at heart. That's just the type of person I am. And so I'm really excited for Shadowkeep. Obviously, you all be watching this. I think, you know, I think I'm going to make this video go live right now, the night before Shadowkeep. If you're watching it right now, when it goes live, if you're watching it later on into Shadowkeep, that's when this video went live. And hopefully you guys come by the live streams If you want some comp help, I will also be helping people through the raid get the 24-hour emblem. I helped about a dozen people last time get the Crown of Sorrows 24-hour emblem, and I will hopefully be able to help a bunch more with my new raid team. We're going to be going for World's First, doing our absolute best to try and place as best we can in the new raid, having a good time, and just grinding Shadowkeep like crazy. So hopefully I'll see you all there. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this series, make sure to smash the like button. I will put this entire series into a YouTube playlist so you can watch all of the videos from start to finish. So hopefully you guys go through and watch all of the videos, and hopefully you enjoyed this journey with me to solo queue to legend rank in comp. It was really, really fun. Thank you.